Today I present to you early images and videos from Spyro A Hero's Tale, containing unused ideas and other information about the game before its release. The game had a lot changed during its development, so I'm very excited to get into this. But before I start, I'd like to thank Brinch for providing me with this content. The link to his channel will be in the description. Now let's start looking into some of this content. First off, I have a video from the 13th of May 2004 from IGN, about 6 months before the game's release. I'll show the video first and then we'll do a rundown of it. So going back to the start of the video, we get to see the models for Hunter, Blink and Sergeant Bird. Hunter's model looks mostly the same, but Blink's model appears to have gone through some change. It looks slightly darker here and he has a red cap. I would assume that Blink's model was made a bit lighter because he appears in cave levels which are usually darker, with only a few exceptions. We then get to see an early version of Crocovile Swamp. The horn dive crates look different when you compare them to the ones found in the final game, and the icon for Fire Breath is different. We then get to see the Forgotten Temple area in the swamp, followed by a small area with dragon dogs spawning. The dragon dogs look very different to how they look in the final game, and an area with them spawning out of these huts doesn't exist. The video then ends with Spyro's model, nothing different worth pointing out here. Moving on from the first video, I have an early gameplay trailer. The trailer shows off several areas in the game, but there is this one part with Spyro swimming away from a shark. It's obvious that this was going to be an enemy in the water, but there's no shark in the final game. After doing some research, I found a video uploaded by the user Ghosty in which a test stage titled test_beach is loaded and played. When Spyro swims too far away from the land, a shark jumps up and kills him. The shark in the trailer was a different shark, an actual enemy, not just a way to keep Spyro in bounds. I'll leave a link to Ghosty's video down below. Keeping with the theme of beaches, the final game shows a hologram of the Professor talking to Spyro about the teleporting experience after he enters coastal remains. It turns out that there's unused dialogue here for a cutscene where Spyro is probably going to be split or injured from teleporting.
Ah, Spyro, I see you made it safe. Oh dear.
In fact, there's quite a lot of unused dialogue from the Professor here. There are 2 voice clips of him asking for 32 light gems and 52 light gems to power gadgets.
You'll need 32 light gems to power the gadget. You'll need 52 light gems to power the gadget.
There's even more dialogue from the Professor about the volcano.
Nice run, Spyro! However, there is only one way back to the top, and only I can send you there. Would you like to return to the top of the volcano?
Okay, this really is a lot of cut dialogue. Finally, there's also a screenshot of the Professor at coastal remains, but the final game just uses a hologram instead. It would have been nice to see the Professor here in the final game. It could lead to some interesting interactions with the NPCs and the Professor, but it was probably scrapped for continuity's sake. It would be a bit weird to see the Professor running around Ice Citadel or Molten Mount after all. Next, I have a few images showing the first 2 levels in the game. I'll start with Dragon Village. The first thing I noticed about this sketch was the dragon egg being sold in the village shop. This would have been quite unusual, but it could also mean that dragon eggs were originally going to have a more significant purpose, like they did in Year of the Dragon. There is also a brief sketch of a boardwalk, meaning that Dragon Village originally was going to be near a lake or ocean. Normally in the game, after completing Dragon Village, Spyro goes to the swamp to meet with an elder, where he learns more about Red and gains the ability Pole Spin. But the image details an ability that Spyro would unlock in Dragonfly Falls called Tail Grab. I thought this was an unseen ability, but in fact it was just a pole spin. It was originally going to be unlocked here instead of in the swamp. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the swamp. As you can see, the pyramid found at the start of the swamp is still present in earlier designs. But it looks like the pyramid was originally going to contain puzzles and the supercharged gadget found near the waters. In the final game, the pyramid only has a small room at the bottom containing a light gem. You can blast away the rocks at the top to find another light gem, but it would have been so much better if we could go inside and explore the whole pyramid. A generator hut is also seen outside, which I assume would power something inside the pyramid. There is also a small water area with the words Aqualung needed next to it. I thought this was just going to be water breath originally, but it was actually going to be a full power up, allowing for unlimited underwater swimming, which also means that the game was originally going to have an oxygen meter. The developers realised that this wouldn't be fun and probably just replaced it with swimming in acid, which is found in sunken ruins and the dark mine. Blink's area is also titled as Blinky, but this was probably just a placeholder name. What's more interesting is the screenshot of a scrapped enemy in the swamp. It's a chameleon-like bipedal animal that looks like it's trying to eat sparks. Having an enemy instantly remove your protection would have been very interesting, but quite challenging, as the swamp's only the second area in the game after all. This might not have been the purpose of the enemy, but it sure looks like it to me. Let me know what you think. The next image, while not a screenshot from the game itself, is a screenshot from a magazine article containing information on Spyro, Crash to Insanity and Star Fox 2. The article refers to Red as an evil red dragon, and to be honest, he probably didn't have a name until late development, but that's just a guess. It also refers to new abilities such as Horn Dive and Tail Swing. As mentioned earlier, I thought this was going to be an offensive ability, but it's just in fact a name for Pole Spin, which also means that this ability went through a lot of different names. Tail Spin, Tail Grab, Tail Swing. There could have been many other names, who knows? The article also comes with 3 game screenshots: Coastal Remains, Hunter's Area in Dragonfly Falls, and Frostbite Village. The Frostbite Village screenshot shows 2 Norks before a gate, with an incomplete objective at the top of the screen. The blue Nork is wearing a yellow cloak, but in the final game, the Norks in this area have winter clothing. Coming towards the end now, I have 3 pictures from the early designs of the Moneybags village shop. The egg found in the sketch earlier is actually present in the shop, which confirms that dragon eggs were heavily conceptualised as an item to buy in the shop. The GUI for the shop looks different, very basic. The same can be said about the remote shop pad. And last but definitely not least, there is actually a logo in a completely different style to the final games, titled Spyro The Dark Realms. Turns out the game was originally going to be called The Dark Realms, which matches the theme of Red going about the realms, littering them with dark gems. It's weird to think what the game would have been like if it went with a different name. I would love to see a box art with this title, to be honest. Anyway, that's it for today. I had a lot of fun going through this stuff, but there's simply too much content to cover in one video. Be sure to let me know if you like this kind of video, because I'll happily do a part 2 to this. Subscribing goes a long way to support the channel too, and I would be very appreciative of it. Once again, thank you to Brinch for providing me with all of this. Without him, this video wouldn't be possible. Anyway, this has been a brief look into some of the unseen content that Spyro: A Hero's Tale has to offer, and I've been Flynny. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.